Well, I thought it would be fun to get into the Halloween spirit and make the dolls some Halloween themed cake pops. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. All right, off camera, I prepared my sticks that I'm going to put my cake pops onto for the dolls. And to do that, I just took some round toothpicks and I painted them with white craft paint. And once the paint was dry, I cut them 2 inches long. I'm gonna put those off to the side. Now let's get set up to make our cake pops. All right, I'm gonna start with our little mummies because I think they're kind of cute. They're awfully cute and I think they'll be a fun one to start with. So I've got original Sculpey. I didn't want a super white clay. I wanted a little bit of an off-white clay, and this one's really easy to work with. So I'm rolling it out I want to make it about 3/8 of an inch in diameter. It needs to go down just a little bit more. I'm only going to do probably one of each of these on camera, and I'll do the rest off camera. That way I don't keep you here quite so long. And I'll talk about it on the blog post, and I'll try to have pictures of each step. So I rolled a 3/8 inch snake. Now I'm going to cut a 3/8 inch. That is not 3/8 of an inch. That is 3/8 of an inch. 3/8 of an inch little piece of it off. And I'm going to roll it in my hands. I want a nice round ball. I'm going to attempt not to have my hands shake too much doing this. Now I have some liquid polymer clay, and I'm going to run the pointed end of one of those toothpicks into that and then into my clay. And that will act as a glue. Anytime you're adding anything to fresh polymer clay that is not fresh polymer clay, you need to glue it basically, and that's what that will do. So now I have to take just a little tiny bit of this, and I'm going to roll it out pretty thin. I want to make some nice long strips. Look at that. Now see if I can do this and not mess it up while I'm trying to do this on camera. That needs to be a little narrower than that. And it's okay if they're not even. They don't have to be like straight strips. You want them kind of wonky. Kind of wrap it around and kind of around, and just put it around like that. That way we've got just a little bit of a strip around his face. I'll put these off to the side because I can use these on some more than I make off camera. Now, let me get set up to make the jack-o'-lantern ones. All right, we're starting the same way. I've got orange polymer clay here this time. This time, I don't know what this one is because it was kind of running around loose in my container of orange clay, so I don't know what this is. It feels like Sculpey though. It's pretty soft. It feels like a Sculpey product. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and again, a 3/8 inch snake cut to 3/8 of an inch long, and roll it into a ball. And this one's even simpler because this one, we're going to take this, dip it in, get just a little ball of that on there, and stick it in. All right. Then I have some green polymer clay. And this, again, is just a little tiny scrap of any green clay you like. Get that centered the way you want it. And then bake these for about 15 minutes at the temperature recommended for your clay, and allow them to cool to room temperature. When I have that accomplished, I'll come back and we'll go to the next step. All right, now we're going to add our faces to our little cake pops. And on my little piece of aluminum foil here, I have some liquid polymer clay, and I have mixed in oil paint. It's important to use oil paint, not acrylic paints in this. And you could, this is optional, you could use acrylic paint, just acrylic paint by itself if that's what you would prefer. I like the effect of the liquid polymer clay because it's a little more three-dimensional like an icing would be. So we're going to start by doing the first layer of the eyeballs on our mummies, because this is going to actually be a multi-step process. So I've mixed up white, titanium white oil paint in this little pool, and it doesn't take very much. I will link my Polymer Clay 101 playlist up in the top corner. I probably did that earlier in the video, so that you can kind of get an idea of how to work with this, because I do have at least one video dedicated to using the liquid polymer clay. Now, I played around with this on a couple of sample ones, and I found that doing this in 2 coats for this eye is much better. It makes it pop. It's a slightly different color of white than my original Sculpey that I used to make the head with, the cake pop with. Pick a spot on your cake pop that you like, that you want to put the eyes on, and put them pretty close together. And this is just a dotting tool. I got a bunch of these off of eBay out of the nail tool area of eBay one time, and they are great for working with polymer clay. If you don't have that, you could use like the handle of a paintbrush. So I am going to dot these on, and then I'm going to put it in the oven at the recommended temperature for my clay for 10 minutes because I want to cure this. And then when that's cured, I'll come back and we can add another coat to that. So I'll see you in just a bit. All right, those have baked, and now it's just simply a matter of repeating that because I want the eyes to stick out like those little googly eye sugar pieces you can buy for real cake pops. And the second coat of liquid polymer clay will not be as thick as the first one. It just gives it a little more emphasis. So I'm going to do that on all of these. And once these are coated, I'm going to put these back in the oven for another 10 minutes. I want this to be set up. And then I'm going to let them cool for about 15 minutes before I come back and add the dots to the middle of the little black dots to the eyeballs to make his little pupils. And we'll also do the jack-o'-lantern faces at that point in time. So I'll see you when these are baked and cooled. All right, now that has baked. I've got the second coat on there and it's baked and cooled. So I'm taking a smaller dotting tool, and I have done the same thing with the liquid clay and some black oil paint. Use a very small dot. And like with anything, depending on how you orient his eyes, you can make him look silly, you can make him look goofy. It's up to you. And we're just going to put a couple of dots on, one on each of these eyeballs. All right, sounds a little bit big, but that's okay. And now let's go ahead and talk about our pumpkins. My little holder, I'm going to put the pumpkins in. So I am making just a really simple face on these. You could go a lot more, involved on that. I'm just going to make dots. And then just kind of a wavy mouth. And that's all there is to it. And once you have the faces on all of your cake pops, go ahead and throw them back in the oven at the recommended temperature for another 10 minutes. And then allow them to cool before you handle them, and they'll be ready to serve to the dolls. So I'll see you when these are baked and cooled. All right, and here are our Halloween cake pops all baked off and completely cooled, and I think they look adorable. Be sure and hop over to the blog post where you'll see some photos and you can read my thoughts that I come up with, because I always think of things as I'm editing the video. I think of things that I maybe didn't elaborate on enough in the video or that I just thought of at that point. So those all go in the blog post. There also should be some pictures over there of the steps that I took to get to this point. And so I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, leave me a comment. What kinds of things would you like to see in future videos? If you enjoy my content and haven't subscribed, I encourage you, hit that subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I put up a new video. Thank you very much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.